Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL 1 Cologne offline qualifier. We are 2 games in already, and we've seen 2 fairly decisive results, I feel, of course. Already having seen Renegades fall in their first game, and then Splice coming up a little bit short against Hellraisers in that second game. And as Alex kind of pointed out earlier on in the day, the games will get spicier as we go on, of course. We did mention a few earlier on. We're going to see teams like Envious and Immortals and such take to the stage. And this match is probably no exception to that rule. 2 teams that have never played before, but I'm sure have had plenty of time to watch each other. Starting off from North America, it's going to be Cloud9. All the gents are on. You got enough room, guys? Yeah, come across a bit more if you want. There you go. So I'm here with Nothing, of course, from Cloud9, and you guys have had a pretty decent couple of weeks, at least in the online terms of things, right? Talking about ECS, you guys are, I think, 8-1 in that one at the moment, and of course in the E-League you're enjoying a fairly comfortable situation. Made some changes recently, of course. Everyone's been looking at Slemmy and seeing how his impact has changed the team. From inside the team, though, how do you reckon he has impacted you guys, bringing him on as an IGL?
He's someone who has been calling strats for a long time, and someone who kind of has a good demeanor about themselves, a nice, calm kind of caller and stuff. So for our team, I think he just was able to bring us down a notch. Sometimes we get a little hyped, and I think it's a good balance because we need both ends of the spectrum to kind of get into the match. So yeah, brings a nice level head.
No doubt. Safe to say you guys are on an upward trend at the moment, at least obviously maybe a few months ago or more. Things weren't so smooth sailing for you guys now as well. Do you attribute that specifically to Slemmy coming on board, or was it like a all-over sort of mentality change that you guys sort of affected?
I think it's a bit of both. You know, going through roster changes constantly and dealing with what we did is not always easy, but I think something that he's helped with is, for me, obviously, personally, I could focus more on my role. And I think it just made everyone a little bit more kind of fit into place. So, yeah, we're working on adding more layers to our game right now. We're not where we want to be yet, but we definitely are on the upswing.
Well, no doubt we're about to find out exactly how that change has been affected. Thanks for joining me here, guys. Feel free to take a seat and get ready for this one. Let's get hyped. And, of course, their opponents in this match, a name that's only recently made the re-entry to CS esports in recent times. However, a roster full of quite well-known players from the CIS region. They came second in the CIS qualifier, initially actually beating Fluffy Gangsters in the upper bracket before getting knocked down in the final. Team Empire. Come across a little bit more, guys, if you like, so we can fit you all on the stage. Thank you. So I'm here with Spiker, of course, from Team Empire. You guys are quite a newly formed team, I guess, under this name specifically. Of course, we've seen you guys a little bit as well in some online qualifiers. Obviously, you went in towards the DreamHack Summer qualifiers recently as well. Talk to us a little bit how the last weeks have been for you guys, because really we've only seen you at bits and pieces, I guess, in the more publicized league. So talk to us about your lead up, talk to us about the preparation and how you guys are feeling in general right now.
Okay, last 2 weeks we were at boot camp in Moscow in the 2 different team houses. I think Swega Squadron for first week. I think we feel prepared for this tournament. Yeah, last 2 weeks it was just preparation. Less official matches, just preparation, prax, and prax again.
So events like this are quite interesting because you get the chance to play against a lot of teams you might normally get to go up against. Is there any one team that you, as a team, are specifically interested in going up against or specifically confident? Is there one game you're looking forward to here out of all the matchups we have in these next few days?
No, I don't think so. Every team here should be strong, I guess.
Well, that's why they're here, and that's why you're here as well. So all the best. Good luck to you guys, Spiker and Team Empire. Have a seat, gentlemen, and we'll get this one kicked off as soon as possible. Well, Alex, I think that clears things up fairly well for you now. We've heard a couple words from the teams, and now it's over to you guys to take us in to a bit of analysis before we kick off this game.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mitch. Two different kind of sides of the spectrum there. You talked to Nothing and you heard him saying, there's more layers needed, and there currently seems like they're in a bit of a growth phase where they're not happy with where their play is at. And it's, likelihood is it's good enough to face versus Empire despite the pracking on pracking. Pansy, though, and Vendetta are standing by to talk about this one. First up, let's just kind of address the elephant in the room that is Empire are relatively unknown in this qualifier. One of the, if not the least known teams competing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, as Mitch alluded to, they have known players on their team, and they have, what we could call rising talent from the CIS region as well, especially in Electronic. Electronic, who we saw almost single-handedly managed to beat Gambit at the previous qualifiers, and especially Anders took a shine to him after that game. He was, talking about buying stock and Electronic. So. Well, it's going to be exciting to see how he performs like this. Again, it's an opportunity to play versus a team that they haven't played versus before. It's from a different region as well, which brings a bit of a different play style too. So seeing how Empire are going to be able to handle that, it's going to be very interesting.
It is, and of course you have, as I said, some experienced heads there. You've got Kucha and Cyberfocus. They're not exactly new to stages like this. They may not have been up in the highest echelons. They've not maybe pushed the very limit of what they can achieve, but they're certainly stable. You'd assume they can certainly provide what they need to maybe round out that lineup of maybe less experienced players, kind of get them onto that same playing field. And I guess almost like Slemmy said, well, at least Nothing said about Slemmy, is kind of, bring the team down to that kind of calmer level, hopefully, and kind of create a nice atmosphere for them to work on.
Yeah, and of course against Empire we have Cloud9, a team that, as I already touched on, suggests there's more layers to our gameplay. They're trying to build more around their gameplay. Does that mean that in currently Cloud9's form they're rather kind of one-dimensional? Vendetta, is that what he's alluding to?
I think probably from where they started at when somebody came into the team, they were pretty one-dimensional, and that's partly because Nothing didn't really get a full or a good hang of what he was doing in his game leader, in addition to being a fragger as well for the team. So obviously what Slummy is doing now is, by adding layers of his own way of playing CS and his ideas to how he wants Cloud9 to play, that's what's currently being added as of right now. I don't think they're one-dimensional, to put it that way, even yet. They might just have a smaller map pool than what they would like, or not as strong of a map pool as he would have liked at this point. But all that kind of stuff takes time and a lot of practice. Yeah,
and you looked at, let's say, the Pro League finals, where they had some really good halves, let's say, or some maps where you started to go, actually, this is a really good idea, but actually look at the results overall. They pretty much bombed out that event pretty badly, but then the following events off the back, you started to see, okay, well, actually, Skadoodle's starting to play well.
Yeah.
Okay, you're starting to see these players that were having really bad performances starting to do better. Stewie's been playing incredibly well recently, probably statistically doing better than the others and finding a real place in that team. And then you saw it kind of following into the E-League and such. So yeah, it's really good to see these guys slowly building back in. And they seem, it sounds like they're mentally aware of the fact that they do have a road to go, that it does start with the foundations and building up on top of it.
And I mean, another individual that has the same kind of Stewie 2K tag attached to it was always Skadoodle, because he had that peak, right? Yeah. Jensen, ladies and gents, do excuse me. God, how dare I? But yeah, I do want to just kind of talk a little bit as to Skadoodle and what form he's in currently, Vendetta, because I was always so excited when he was at his best. He was a very explosive player to watch, but I don't feel like we've seen that. I keep asking this every time I have Cloud9 and I have an analyst desk. I try and probe and see if he's there. And what is a form check right now for him?
Simple answer, no, he's not.
Yeah. Okay.
As disappointing as it is, because he was hailed as the
so
kind
exciting.
of what can you do? You have to be honest about it, right? If you go back, quite a few months at this point, he was what was going to be exactly. He was going to be the saving grace of NA. He was going to bring back Cloud9 into the limelight, and now we're seeing as you mentioned, Stewie actually doing better and outperforming him, and we haven't really seen the Skadoodle that we want to see, and it's kind of taking the same trajectory as Kenny S. So going from the top where he's the best in his region, they're slowly dipping down, and now you have JDM, who's by many seen as the best opera in NA.
And I've got to say, though, a name we haven't even mentioned yet is Shroud as well, another player who's always held to be sometimes doing these incredible things. Sometimes. It's like, where's that consistency that can provide such an incredibly impactful player? You want to see that guy coming out, but again, it's hard to see consistency. But again, if you build the blocks for that team to allow him to create those opportunities, you could see something very impressive through that guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe map pool comes into it an awful lot with these guys. I would love to know your thoughts on this one as we do bring up the veto. Now, Cloud9, you've already said they want to make their map pool deeper, but it's probably not necessary versus the likes of Empire, and they've already chosen immediately to remove cache.
Well, smart choice if you're Empire.
Right?
Yeah, this is a smart choice, one of the best maps for Cloud9, and as Blue said on the panel previously, that's kind of the go-to map for a lot of the NA teams. Train being moved out is a bit of a surprise if you think about how how well Cloud9 have done on that map statistically.
They've been actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
as of late even.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reason they're doing this is because, this has been one of the stronger maps for Empire. So
That's
at this
quite
point,
a respect ban actually then.
yeah, exactly. So, but when you have this kind of a veto phase, you can just remove the strengths of your opponents if you think you're better as a team overall.
Makes sense.
When it comes down to it. So it feels like that's what Cloud9 are doing right now, and well, vetoes are flying away here.
and even seeing Nuke being taken out that late, either someone's confident or left it in as a like, well, someone's going to take it out eventually. So looking at the maps remaining, Cobble, I guess, is the only option that was really going to be left in there between those two.
Well, Cloud9 had the option of Mirage, and I mean, we will never forget Cloud9's performance on Mirage, where it was something like, I had the number before, 28 rounds on T-side lost in a row between two games.
That might be the reason why we're not seeing it.
Yeah, so they had
Solid
the option,
reason.
and it looks like we're not quite happy with their development on that map, because I remember they were like, right, so we have to build that up from the ground up all over again. Maybe Slemmy hasn't had enough time, and so they choose Cobble again. 2 Cobbles back to back, not something I was anticipating, given the option of banning down to 1. What do you think about this one in terms of Empire's chances?
I'm not liking them. Cloud9 is definitely a capable Cobble team, and yeah, I think it should go a pretty standard way, kind of similar to what Hellraisers did versus Splice. I don't think we're going to see, or hopefully we're not going to see as many mistakes as we did in that game, because the 2 first games we've had so far has been a bit of a messy affair, I think is a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, it's incredibly messy so far, and the players we've got on Cloud9 shouldn't be making those errors in theory. You look at Splice, for example, they're not quite as experienced. Or even Hellraiser, some of them don't quite have that as well. So with these guys, at least in Cloud9, Emperor aside, you'd assume that they can do the fundamentals that we were getting very frustrated at before. But the thing I'm looking at is this is a good map for Shroud in my eyes sometimes. When he plays it well, he can do extremely well here. So I'm hoping for him he has a good game. Otherwise, it's been Stewie recently, again, who's been having those big performances.
Yeah, and for someone, like Skadoodle, who we want to see do better, Cobble's not a bad map to actually have the freedom to actually move about a bit, especially on the CT side. Just trying to create some sort of instability within Empire, which could be a very, very tough thing for them to deal with, seeing how, well, they don't have so much experience to speak of outside of Kuchen and Cyberfocus.
But this is where I want to look at the depth of Cloud9 as well, because of course Cobble has, I guess, set rules in a weird way that you want CT sides who can be aggressive on occasion, get that information, play the rotates incredibly well, do that maybe double up coming into practice, these sort of things. And then their T side, how deep does it go? Do they have some decent plays? Have we got some unique smokes? These sort of things and how they kind of approach it, I want to see how well they do here. Do they play to their level or the level of their opponent? And that's going to be a big factor for me.
That has been a very good point. It's been a problem with Cloud9 in the past, where you've seen, like, whatever. You've seen Cloud9 actually, like, at one point play to the level of their opponent. That's we've actually criticized them in that in the past, and it could be a problem. Let's not forget, they conceded a loss recently at E-League versus Renegades on this very map, and we saw what happened to Renegades earlier on today. Your casters are ready, and so the casters for you are Blue and Natu. Enjoy.
Ready to jump into this third match, guys. Cloud9 versus Team Empire. In theory, at the outset, what should seem like a pretty clear-cut match for Cloud9, but Team Empire as well, bringing in some of their own strength. Maybe, just maybe, they'll have a chance to...
I think there's one thing going the way of Empire. It's the dank memes on Twitter.
That's
very pretty much it.
I've been tweeting him beforehand. He's obliged me. He said he's gonna bring the...
he should.
The power to the Counter-Strike community.
Definitely should. No, but I mean, look at this matchup. Like the desk was alluded to. I mean, it's pretty much Cyberfocus and Kosher are the 2 ones that we know from the past. And Electronic, Anders always likes to pick these players, and since he doesn't have Palf anymore, he has to pick someone else. He's decided to pick Electronic. Cloud9, I think, is obviously on a rise right now. Addition of Slemmy and obviously Stewie really getting accustomed with things. Stabilizing his play, you could say, and really, we can really see that ceiling of his talent, or skill ceiling he has, is very massive and it's very high. So it's good to see. I think this is a great progression for them, and I feel like Cloud9 should be going through this qualifier, in generally speaking.
I feel like that as well, especially based on how strong they did appear to play back at E-League as well. They had a pretty strong showing there, and I mean, taking Luminosity to 3 maps, first two maps extremely close, and then kind of dropping the ball in the third one. It's sort of running out of steam, it would seem, but still overall much more improved over some of their past performances in the past. They finally sort of found what they want to do with Stewie, and Stewie himself, I think, has had a miraculous sort of evolvement of putting himself into much more of a team-oriented role, and then when he wants to throw out that aggression that he's like known for when they brought him onto the team, he can still absolutely do that, especially on this map. He does it quite a bit, especially over towards long A.
Yeah, I mean, he has a play style that takes a bit of time to get accustomed to when you're playing the top teams, obviously. And there's going to be a lot of weight on his shoulders to take a lot of the fragging on Cloud9. So it was quite obvious to me that it would take a little bit of time for him to get accustomed to the situation. And I just remember everyone was literally burning their C9 fan shirts when this announcement was made that he was joining the team. Yeah, this goes to show that sometimes when you take gambles on these kind of players, it is very beneficial in the long run. Obviously, it's still early days kind of for this lineup in first two as well, but you know, we've seen the signs that he can definitely be a mainstay in the high echelon of Counter-Strike.
Not only this too, but nothing. Ever since we see Slemmy being brought into the roster and Eric Kanji helping out with the leadership too, now that huge weight is like off his shoulders. We saw it at the last major, we saw it in general with Cloud9, when we still didn't have the support of Slemmy and Eric Kanji, that he was really struggling to take that on. And he publicly admitted that, but now that that's off him, we're seeing like a whole new nothing. Nothing's becoming extremely strong, and in some cases he was looking stronger than Shroud, stronger than Skadoodle, and stronger than Stewie in some matchups, specifically in their past couple of events.
I mean, especially 1.6, nothing used to be like the player that would get a lot of the highlight reel kills, and you'd see really huge halves from him. So it's good to see that he's finding some of that. And I think his problem has always been a bit of inconsistency, where he can have these massive games but then just totally disappear from the picture. And I don't think this team really can afford that happening. Shroud, however, I feel like he's also a very known for being inconsistent, has that really high skill ceiling, but then again, we only get to see that not too often, really. I mean, I said it's close to like 1 out of 10 games that he really shows up and has that big game. So it's him, it's Stewie, it's Skadoodle that I'm looking for to really pull the numbers. And if nothing can also chime in, then that's going to be a dangerous Cloud9 against anyone, really.
All right, guys, well, we are getting into the match now. The teams have readied up, and we're starting the pistol round here in about 3 seconds, so let's get to it. Cloud9 starting off on the CT side, and Empire jumping onto the T side. Yeah,
let's see what they have bought on that T side. We still have the lineups on the screen. Why not? I think the pistol round's already live, boys. So, but it's going to be all across armors for the T side, except for Spiker, who had a grenade to work with. Duel's already happening here. It's going to be that B plow coming in. It's a 3-3 situation.
Now with this Kucher looking for a way back into the site pretty quickly, trying to work his way through that smoke. That's a good nade, actually, that goes into Cyber Focus. Stewie 2K picking up 1 kill. Kucher responding on his own regard by taking down Shroud, trying to hold the line. He picks up 1 more before finally going down to Slemmy. And now it's down to a 1v1. Cyber Focus is clear enough to be able to go for that plant. But Slemmy now has to sneak his way back up to the site, waiting for the headshot, but ducks down at just the wrong time. It's not going to work out as well, but there we go. Out around to the right and finds a shot that's needed. Shuts down Cyber, and with that, Cloud9 are going to be picking up the pistol.
Yeah, that's a typical way for the T's to start. Really trying to apply pressure early on. Pushing that B bomb side. It was good trades for Empire. Getting the bomb down. Becomes a one-on-one, but a nice headshot from Slemmy to seal the deal, and Cloud9 getting that first round on the board. Now let's see what the Empire's approach is going to be on this round number 2. If they're going to be investing any of their money into it. It does appear that they're going to be saving, going for that 3rd round buy.
As we go into things here now, Empire initially go for the split. Spaz and Electronic work their way inside of the B halls, 3 more outside. Just to watch out in case Cloud9 get a little bit aggressive there. And in Slemmy's case, definitely going to be moving up quite a bit, but just to throw off some initial smokes and whatnot to prevent Empire from moving quickly towards one of these sites. Beyond this, most of them still holding back pretty passively. Nothing jumping up on top of the platform there to try and see if he can pick anybody off, but ultimately doesn't find anybody and just puts himself in the cubby.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for you to get a bomb plan on this round because there's no nades to work with for Empire at all. They have some P250s in play, but that's all they have. Electronic already lost half of this HP, more than half actually, and it seems like Empire just waiting for any potential aggressiveness from Cloud9, but they are keeping their distance, which is the smart move to make. Obviously, when you're playing against pistols, you want to make sure the distances are really long, but Electronic doesn't care. He's going to get that shot on the Skadoodle, and it seems like that's going to initiate a push here from Team Empire. Slemmy is going to be pressured from multiple angles, but he makes it 3K before going down.
Electronic did respond, but that's all we're going to see. Stewie picks up the final frag, and Cloud9 do eventually shut it down, although a couple of kills that may not have needed to happen there, like seeing the pretty long-range spray coming out from the SMG leads to one of their deaths, and keeping himself out there for very long as well. Players like that going down, not necessarily needed, so 2 players dropping. They do manage to, I believe, save all of the rifles that were in play from that last round, though, so not huge losses coming in as of yet for C9.
Empire does buy into this. They have a little bit more AKs and a lot of grenades to work with, except for Cyber Focus. Seems like they're going to be applying some pressure towards the B bomb side. This is something we see a lot of the times from teams on the T side. Trying to establish control off that B long. Spaz just waiting for the moment to try to take a peek on long, but they're not going to see anyone. Cloud9 playing very passively. Instead, they have opted to have a lot of pressure in that side hall and middle. So, interesting setup from the CTs.
And the rest of Empire now slowly pressuring their way through this hall. Same as we expected. Like, this is the very default sort of momentum for a lot of teams here. Just let the timer run down a little bit. Try to force the hand of any of the CTs to see if they can get them out in the open. But so far, nothing as of yet from C9. They're holding back, still staying in their positions now. They did leave drop open, which could prove a little bit dangerous here later in the round.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of teams do now is actually because they seem to struggle with holding it. It's hard when your opponents have good ball flashes, they use their Molotovs and smokes correctly. It's going to be very hard to play that drop, so you see it played passively a lot of the time now. It's going to be mid control, trying to take by Empire, but Spike going down by Slimy, who's in danger. It would be a good time for him to fall back. He does, as the action is on Electronic. He's trying to be a bit of a lurk here, but instead of doing a lurk, he's making a lot of noise, and his teammates are rotating to the A-bomb site.
Unfortunately, Shroud just going to surprise him there with a flashbang that rolls back in. It takes him out of the picture pretty quickly, and now they no longer have to worry about that. And immediately after this, too, everybody from C9 just rotates over to the A-bomb site to go for a hold here. Empire trying to push their way back in, but they've got to be careful because Stewie's coming on a long flank right now through the mid-connector, too, making some very slow progress, but still no frags being found. There's one from Stewie. Shroud picks up a second. Spaz did respond by taking down nothing, but ultimately it's left to Cyberfocus here to pull off a clutch again, and he's only got 10 seconds to do it. No momentum, doesn't even have bomb control for himself. It's out in the open there, so as he pulls back, can't even take down Stewie, and he's just going to close it out.
Yep, they were not able to trade correctly to have an opportunity. Never even got to the bomb site, and Cloud9, recognizing the situation, when the time was winding down, they decided to have more passive hold from that bomb site, and it works perfectly. They have 3 remaining in that round, and they will have a 3-0 lead as well. And it seems like Empire has decided to go for the Tech-9s, have 2 smokes. I think we're going to see that same connector smoke coming in, so that might allude us to the fact that it might be drop push coming in with the Tech-9s.
And the smoke does go onto the ground, and there's the drop push now from Empire. They're going to pinch it towards the A site, though. Not able to get himself back in there as quickly as he would have liked. There is some amazing damage being connected, though, onto some of these players through the door. Electronic, Spaz, Kucher, all getting tagged down there as they work their way into the A-bomb site, but they do nonetheless get some control. Doodle tries to hold, but there's really nowhere for him to run to, so Team Empire are going to overrun that site quite nicely. And now it's about holding it after the plant, and they haven't been able to upgrade a lot of these Tech-9s as of yet.
It's going to be a flank again coming in here from Stewie in middle. I think he got spotted already. One of the players inside all decides to fall back. And now, there's a 5-on-3, but look at the HP on the Empire players is very low as well. So if they play correctly C9, I think they should be good. Stewie gets the first one, but it's going to be Kucher and Cyberfocus coming into play. And they made the kill. They even have time to take a team kill and still managed to win that round. So that was a very successful connector push from Team Empire.
And with that now, that immediately turns things upside down for C9 because their economy was not really in a strong spot to begin with here. You can see how skewed it is at this point. Skewed on a 2.4K, Slimmy up at 2.8K. A couple of guys are up at upwards of 5K, but still, the 4-step's going to come in. We see some decent buys on players like Stewie and Skadoodle, but the rest of them are just going to be upgrading pistols, and for Shroud, he picks up a UMP.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a heavy hold here from Cloud9 as well. They let Slimy here alone in the side hall of 8. And Pop Flash is trying to make it seem like there's an aggressive approach from the CTs, but instead he's falling back. And we have 2 in connector watching towards that drop, and then 2 on that B bomb side. Empire, though, they're not taking any of it, just holding back right now, waiting for any potential pushes from Cloud9, which is not really to be seen anywhere.
Electronics grabbed the bomb, and he's now retreating his way through this B halls to regroup with the A hit group now. It's going to be Spiker, Cyberfocus, and Kucher going in a 2-2 split formation. 2 of them into the connector, but a lot of them heading up to the suicide steps as well. Kucher's going to find that first entry on a Slimmy, and now everything falls to nothing too. He's actually pretty dangerously rotating himself at the moment. He's one of the players with a pistol, not able to connect that full frag on a Kucher, so he will be eliminated.
Yeah, and this is already safe territory for Cloud9. They need to just fall back, and that's exactly what's happening. Are falling back all the way into that B bomb side. The bomb's going to be going down with 5 left on Empire. So perfectly played there from them. They managed to get those 2 kills. A little bit too individually. Obviously, Cloud9 didn't have any opportunities to try to trade kills, and that's pretty much why we're sitting in this situation now. And Empire decides to sign up for this match in the early stages. Fortunately enough for Cloud9, though, none of the big guns that they did force into this round do end up getting dropped. It's just the upgraded pistols on Nothing and Slimmy. So it's still going to be carrying in that rifle along with the UMP into the next round, although they won't really have a whole lot of cash to do anything else for the 2 that have dropped. What I would have wanted to see in that kind of round where force buying, you have an op. Why don't you have that op maybe taking a peek in middle or side hall? You know, try to force a play, try to force a 5-on-4 situation. Instead of they banked on that B bomb side, and well, it's always a gamble, but still having 4 players with UMPs, and you have an UMP and then 4 and 2 upgraded pistols, you can still work on that B bomb side. But well, that gamble didn't work in the favor of Cloud9. And now they will still have a partial buy, obviously. Shroud, Stewie, and Skadoodle, who saved those weapons from the previous round, will have weapons, and nothing is Slemmy not upgrading. Well, they upgrade pistols, but that's all they have.
Yep, and it's just P250s. Everybody just sort of rounding themselves out around the 2K margin so that they can all, regardless of the outcome of this round, go for the buy in the 7th here. But for Team Empire, they definitely have the initiation rights here now. It's just all about getting into the site, and so far there's been no reason to deviate from the usual strat that they've been playing towards. It's just that default setup 3-2 on either site. Early drop control being taken now. Spaz finds the first pickup, but Stewie does respond, keeping himself alive and keeping that rifle still in play.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a 4-on-4 situation. That always favors the T side. That means there's going to be a gap somewhere in that defense. Shroud taking an AWP. He's trying to have an impact with it, but well, he decides to fall back to the bomb side. It seems Empire actually is wanting to do a B push. And as that is happening, Cloud9, they do have 2 players on the flank right now, but Cyber Focus in the perfect position to stop that. Gets the kill on the nothing. Should have one on the Slemmy as well. He does. And well, now it becomes a 4-on-2.
And what's even better about this, too, is they've called off the B hit. They're just going to rotate over towards A, and Electronics driven a wedge, so they have to rotate past him in order to get onto this site. I believe he's heard Stewie, but I don't think he fully realizes he's worked his way all the way out here. Just going to line up the kill into Shroud. He definitely did not notice Stewie, so he's going to surprise a little bit on his way into the site. Takes down Cyber Focus, but at the end of the day, Pitcher is still able to respond and end the round in the favor for Empire.
This is going to be a bit of a dangerous round for Cloud9 because they have money to buy, but they will have to make some kind of sacrifices in terms of what they buy. They actually decided to go on a save here. I think this might actually be the smart move in long term, because they would have close to no utility to work with in this round if they decide to buy. So instead, it is going to be that save coming in.
For Empire, it's much more direct this time as well. No more of those default holds. Just going to be 5 of them pushing directly into the A bomb site. 3 of them working their way out through long A right now. Now Slemmy has got himself into a great position, pushing down the suicide steps, but now he's got to execute. He can't find the first pickup. Electronic takes him down. Nearly a mid-air shot from him, but he is able to dodge the initial ones. Kucher finding another one now, and as Cloud9 try to broil in here, it's not a whole lot of success. Skadoodle trying to turn it back around along with Stewie, and it's mainly just Stewie. He's up to 3 kills for himself. Bomb goes down for Empire. He brings one of the players down to 10 HP. He could be looking at a ginormous clutch here if he can find that frag, but he doesn't count on Spaz pushing up the ramp. And with that, it's going to end it for Empire.
Well, at least that's going to be some money lost for Empire. Doesn't have to really buy all these weapons, but good job from Stewie there. It's going to be some extra cash in his pocket as well. But now here comes the actual buy then. Cloud9 finally have the means to buy what they would like. And the op on Skadoodle, I think it goes without saying, but also on Stewie. So that's going to be the double ops coming in. We don't see this on Cobble all too often. So what they're banking for is trying to keep the T side away from the bomb sites, because it's going to be hard to retake those 2 ops.
And more interestingly to note too, you're going to be leaving Stewie in a position where most of the force is going to be coming in from. Skadoodle's going to have to rotate in late here, and considering he's much more of a stable operator, that might be harder for him to actually get back into the site and find a position with which he can use from. Stewie's much better at moving himself around and finding those mobile positions to op from, so that could be trouble. And we can already see Skadoodle sort of half rotating his way into the connector too to get ready in the event this does turn towards a B hit.
Yeah, I think that's the gamble they need to make right now. They need to leave 1 player on that A bomb side. Just play 2 towards the B bomb side, because it's hard to hold with these 2 players just being here. It's going to be a lot on Stewie. He needs to connect a lot, but it seems like Empire is taking their sweet time. And Stewie does get boosted up. I think I like this play. Problem is though that Cyber Focus is already aiming towards that B long. But then Stewie, oh, it's going to whip that one. Opportunity was had, but he didn't take it. Spastic with the entry kill. Nothing trading off, but Cyber Focus comes to the rescue. And that's going to be the B bomb site lost. Now Skadoodle still is waiting for an opportunity. The smokes are going to be taking off any angles for that bomb planter. He goes down, and I think Spastic mode, this is Skadoodle, he does, but he's not going to be able to connect now. It becomes a little bit awkward.
He's just trying to find some sort of angle to work with, and he can't find anything at all. So left to Slemmy in the 1v3. Caught off guard by Cyber Focus there, but still able to find almost a second kill. Spaz does take him down. It's a 3K on the round for him, and is being the 5th round for Team Empire now. And with that save, Cloud9 once again are thrusted onto, our apologies, with that loss round, I should say. Cloud9 are thrusted into a save.
Yeah, that was Stewie just not being able to connect on that shot. It's a 4-on-4 situation. It's always a little bit tricky on the CT side. What do you want to do, especially on a map like Cobblestone where the rotations are really long? Stewie had the opportunity to get that first kill as the attack was coming to be bomb side, but he does not connect, and that was pretty much a situation lost for them. And now they're going to be forced to another save round.
Back to the default for Team Empire, though. Just the 3-2 split. keeping their guys outside and waiting while the other three just run down the timer a little bit and prepare. But Cloud9 have placed a lot of their members here over towards the A-bomb site, leaving basically all the pressure to nothing and Shroud to hold off for a B hit. The problem, though, is it was CyberFocus firing all this off. It's almost started to force some of these guys a little bit closer to the A site. No reason to do that right now, though, as they've been given no information to indicate it would be coming in that site. But it does actually look like the members of Team Empire are going to have worked their way in here, so there may be a chance for Cloud9 if they can catch a couple of these guys on off angles to upset. Of course, it's not going to start off so well, but there comes Skedoodle now trying to work his way out, and he can't grab a kill either. Stewie has a bit of a flank opened up in the fact that nobody pushed their way out towards long A, but if he can't execute this round, it's done for, if it's not done for already.
I think it should be pretty much done for it. Spiker and solo on HP. He's going to get taken by Shroud, so they still don't have an idea where Stu is. He gets that one kill, but not going to be able to get the other one. Kucher saves the day for Team Empire. Still 2 left for the CTs though. Shroud and nothing here in connected, but they don't really have a lot to work with. Armor and Shroud. 8 to 15 to 5, 7 in play. Nothing taking a duel. Kucher. Oh, it's going to be flavor focus as well, so there we go. But at least it's going to be a couple kills going the way of Cloud9, and this is the moment where they need to start building it. Because look at the money for Empire. They are sitting pretty right now. Spaz at 12k, both Kusher and CyberFocus at 9k as well. So it's a lot of economy for them to spare.
Stewie struggling to find that final shot that was needed to take down Kucher there. Just 1 or 2 more would have done the trick, but can't find the connection. And with that, Cloud9's attempt at a flank does not end up working out as well as they had planned. And overall, their attempts to hold a heavy stack on A does not fare nearly as close to the way that they were hoping it would have gone there, but still some decent impact being done, and frags just not really enough to bring Team Empire down to a palatable point for the time being. Slemmy, though, out front in the open towards long A, but he only finds 1 kill, looks himself away, and CyberFocus is gonna punish that.
It's kind of weird how Cloud9 holds his A side. They're very individual here. Slemmy alone a lot of the time on the side hauling. Skadoodle just briefly goes there, but then falls back. Now it's going to be under immense pressure. He's literally like the only one here on this side. Shroud has to already jump down the balcony, but they miss Skadoodle. He gets a no-scope, but CyberFocus for the trade. Then Stewie comes into play as well.
Stewie has a nice angle to take down one of them. Spaz down to 13 HP as well here, but Electronic's going to push his way in, and Stewie doesn't realize just how close he had gotten there. Miscommunication being caused, and now down to a 1v2 in the favor of the guys from Team Empire, and nothing as gets decked by Electronic was firing in the opening to that site, and he finds a shot that's needed. That's another one for Team Empire, and they now have a huge lead against C9 as we come into the later rounds of the first half.
Yeah, it's been 7 in a row for Empire as well. So after the pistol round, they won every single one. It's a nice run from them right now, and like I said, I want to see the A holders play a little bit more together. Slemmy and Skadoodle, they need to have a plan. Either play aggressive middle, play aggressive side haul, or have a passive haul when you send a third one towards that A bomb site. But right now, they're having to battle too much alone, and Empire doing a good work of choosing that in their advantage.
So Shroud himself now taking a little bit more of an active role inside of drop, where they have been focusing on being outside of it before. And Slemmy still placing himself a little bit more aggressively outside towards long A, but still not being able to find anything there as of yet. Team Empire holding themselves back once again, going back to the basics as far as it's concerned. But now a little bit of action going to start towards drop. They move in. Electronic throws the flashbang. Member of C9 that was holding this is going to be Skadoodle back outside the window, but he's been smoked off. He won't be able to really see all that much here. Shroud, though, is now waiting for somebody to move in the transition room, but not finding it. He's going to be blind as a bat, and with that, Electronic will punish it. Finds the first kill of the round against Shroud.
Yep, already 5-on-4. Still a minute to play for here. No decision made from Empire yet what they're going to be doing. Bomb is down in the ground. Towards that B bomb site, but they can still be faking the B bomb site, but nothing. They shot on the Electronic through the smoke to equalize the situation now. Stewie being here on the platform as well on B, but Skadoodle, oh, is going to be the one to get a kill, and that's going to initiate Stewie to try to make a play from below, but a bit of an NA flash coming in. He's somehow still alive.
Nobody's moved forward to punish him as of yet, and he's getting plenty of support from nothing just to hold back the tide from Team Empire. And in fact, all that nade pressure has been enough to just call off the B hit entirely. Empire are going for a very, very quick rotation over towards the A bomb site. In theory, this should be easily readable, but they're only pulling Stewie over in the event it does prove to be a fake. But Stewie's very weak, and this combined with Slemmy here now, who can be fairly hit or miss in these more clutch situations, this is not the formula they want to be working with. Slemmy picks up the first one, looking for the second one at long range, but he cannot actually execute. Moves over to Spaz. Again, he's done great damage to both players, but can't actually take down either one of them. Spaz gets the plant with just 4 seconds left on the clock, and very quickly Skadoodle and Stewie are going to work their way back in. Another flash up on the site, I think only ends up giving away the position of Spaz there as they find him out from that missed flash. And Skadoodle slowly forging his way over towards this, making sure that CyberFocus doesn't actually spot him. He's taken off his teammate now, and now he's going to execute. There's the first one, trying to spray it down through the panels there. He's got him at 14 HP. If he peeks this, he's going to be a dead man, and there we go. Taps him on the shoulder. It's going to be a full 10-second defuse for Skadoodle. We should have plenty of time to pull this off, and Cloud9 are finally going to win another round.
What a massive one as well after losing those 7. Now the problem is they will have to strain them together, and the fact of the matter is their economy is definitely not strong right now, so it's going to be heavily force buying into that by Cloud9. The only one that has any really Skadoodle, everyone else having to take these gambles in terms of what they buy. So let's see how that's going to affect their CT hold.
So now, for the members of Empire, what do we do here at this point in time? Still have a decent amount of cash flow to work with, but as they move themselves in, it's going to be another very direct hit from them heading out towards the B-bomb site. Smokes, flashbangs, even decoys being used onto this site, and Electronic strikes first, moves in to take down Stewie. Shroud along with nothing, though, are posted back behind the rock. Cyber Focus, though, is just going to deck Shroud to the ground, eliminating him. Nothing trying to force his way forward. He's found Spiker, grabs another one through the smoke as he eliminates Kucher, and just like that, he's put a huge dent in his opposing force from Empire, down to just Spaz and Cyber Focus. They've lost control of the bomb as well.
Nothing right now. He's just lurking here his way. But it's going to be Cyber Focus with the kill. And it's now Skadoodle in a one-on-one with Cyber Focus. The bomb still hasn't been planted. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock. But Skadoodle's going to come out on top. It's going to be second in a row. Skadoodle with the second clutch in a row for him. So great job from nothing, obviously. Getting those kills on the bomb planter and one of the other Empire players. And, well, a good call from Empire has to be said, though. Pushing that B-bomb side when you know your opponent's economy is low and you know they're not going to have a lot of nades to work with is actually perfect. And, well, they almost get it, but it's going to be Skadoodle in the end coming out on top of that.
That just seemed like a bit of a misread there at the end, too, as to where Skadoodle actually pushed himself out towards a little bit more aggressively than Cyber Focus may have been counting on. So he gets the angle advantage and finds that final shot that is needed to end it here. So Cloud9 starting to battle their way back now after 7 rounds in a row were won by the members of Team Empire.
Well, it's still going to be tough. As we can see, the buy from Cloud9 is far from perfect. So MP9 and a Mac Daddy in play. Mac 7, not Mac Daddy. Mac Daddy is the Mac 10. So that's definitely not perfect for them. Holding off against a fully bought Team Empire, who are slowly working their way through the side hall.
It's still very slow and methodical from the members of Team Empire, not wanting to take any risks on it just as of yet because of the fact that Cloud9 have been very keen on moving themselves out here before looking for that intelligence if they can try and find it here. Slemmy is up just outside of the mid-connector, but not really a whole lot of presence out towards long A. They've kind of left it wide open, but they are ready to defend this site in the event of a hit coming from this direction, and it starts off well. 2 kills for them. Spaz does trade it back a little bit there, but ultimately, actually, Spaz is going to find another kill and nothing. He overpeaks that a little bit there outside the mid doors, and Skadoodle can't really do much from this position either. There's nades coming in all around him. That flash not really going to connect, and he misses the flick, so Kucher's going to take him down. He finds a second up on the site, and just like that, it's in the hands of Shroud, who really only has his pistol to work with at long range. There's one tap, looking for the second, and he somehow finds this, and all that's left now is Cyber Focus. He's down at 7 HP. Shroud has plenty of time to work with, so he's going to fall away, hope to find a rifle, something over here towards long A if he can pick it up. But this may actually buy time for Cyber Focus to get up close as well, so he's got to be very careful about this.
Yeah, what a great play from Shroud already here so far. Going to be the correct Molotov throw from Cyber Focus. It's only down to 7 HP. Shroud's going through that, down to 36 HP. But he only has to connect one bullet, and he's going to do that as Cyber Focus decides to get on top of that roof somehow. Well, for some information, considering his HP, I'm not really sure that was the play to go for.
Definitely not. And Shroud sees that coming from a mile away. You can see he almost pre-fires him through the box as soon as he hears him jumping, or through the shed as soon as he hears him jumping up on top. But
1-on-3 with the 5-7. This was a nice one to Kucher, but then also getting one of the Spaz, who was relatively low on HP, and then Cyber Focus just decides to disappear from the map by jumping on top of the roof. You
can see Shroud actually spots the head there too on the first jump when it goes up onto the barrels or whatever sitting behind that, and that's how he marks it. And then it's just waiting for him to actually get up fully up on top of the shed there. So,
but off of 3 clutches right now, Cloud9 is getting back into this, but again, still their economy is very low. It's almost Slimmy getting got off there, and the applied pressure here coming from the Teeth already inside hall. It's going to be Skadoodle getting that first kill on the Electronic. Gets it. Slimmy gets straight off by Cyber Focus, who gets 2 for the price of 1.
Skadoodle going to trade it back now, and it's been all him so far to try and keep this even for his team. Now Stewie's chiming in a little bit, able to move in, take down Kucher. Cyber Focus that was still impacting in a very big way. You've got Skadoodle around the corner, but I don't know if he's going to want to risk it with the op. This close-up tries to put some range between them, but it's Cyber Focus again that strikes. Stewie finds one of the last kills. He's got to go 3 to clutch it out, though. He spotted Spiker, but Spiker at the same time knows exactly where he's playing from now, too. Thankfully for Skadoodle, or for Stewie, apologies, the bomb has gone down, so Spiker still has a long road to actually pick this back up and get it onto the site, but there's also a minute left on that clock. And Stewie trying to play around this. He might have a huge advantage against Spiker. Hasn't seen him on the left, though. Should have been able to see the barrel. But he hasn't spotted him. Now, though, peeking back out. Well, the timing on this is just not working out for Stewie at all. Now he should spot him, though. And there we go.
What a merry-go-round that was for quite a while there. Once again, Cloud9 with a fourth clutch to keep themselves in this match. This could have been a horrible hot half for them if it wasn't for Skedoodle and Shroud, and now Stewie with the clutches. So all of a sudden we're sitting at 7-7, and it's a very doable one for Cloud9. And as we can see, Empire does not have a lot of money. Well, you will be able to see momentarily once we get into in-game. But they're going to be Tech-9s and just one AK-47 to work with.
But for this one, it's going to be a bit of an interesting play from the members of Team Empire. It looks like they're going to drive the wedge again and try and get themselves into the A-bomb site. Skedoodle is just looking out at nothing, but they can't get any of those kills. Shroud finds the first 3 pickups, completely kills that drop play entirely on his lonesome. Skedoodle striking back now. Spiker has found at least 1 pickup here as a cyber focus, but now it's just Spiker on his own again, and he's made 0 progress on getting close to this site.
I don't think he has a lot to play with here. So now he gets a FAMAS there, but Cloud9 is going to be smart. They just have to fall back, as we can see. Stu already made through his way through these B halls, and he should be able to see Spiker here, and does, and he's going to get that kill. And somehow Cloud9 makes it 8-7 in first half.
Crawling back after Team Empire wins 7 in a row. Cloud9 managed to pick up the final 5 in the round there, in some very, very tight situations as well.
It's weird, like, when you look at that first half, we would have thought, you know, Empire should have been up 11-4, even 12-3. That's how it seemed like, but it's all individual efforts from those players we mentioned. Stewie, Shroud, obviously, and then Skedoodle with, what, 2 or 3 clutches there. So, yeah, just skin under the teeth is how they held on to that by Cloud9. Could have been massive from Empire.
All right, guys, well, the second half is coming up in just a few moments. Be sure to stick around. We'll be right back. Cloud9 battled their way back there at the end of the first half. Now can they keep it going strong on the T side? Here we go, guys, into the second half now between them and Team Empire. Team Empire picked up 7 in a row. Cloud9 battled back the last few and managed to keep it close at the end of their first half on the CT side. Now they're going to try and end it here, be able to keep themselves pushing closer to a spot in Cologne.
I think the word the emphasis on the word battle has to be the one to choose from, because so many clutch situations obviously for Cloud9. If even one of them went the way of Empire, they would have had a massive half there, because economy from Cloud9 would have been destroyed. Totally full reset. Instead, Cloud9 somehow miraculously managed to 8-7 that first half on CT side, so it's actually not looking too bad for them. Now let's see what they have to offer on this first round. They have up to go for 4 armors and Skadoodle with a smoke and 2 flashes. Seems like a lot of pressure will be plotted towards the A bomb side. Cyber Focus already down to 14 HP off of that dink from one of the turrets, making their way towards the side hall.
And the rest of Cloud9 very quickly trying to take control of the long A approach there too. Not moving into the site just as of yet, but Skadoodle is approached just outside of the mid connector, ready to move in himself. Heading on the way the Team Empire bite on this noise that's been made over towards the long A now. Kucher and Cyber Focus moving in, but everybody else from Cloud9, they're now working their way through the B halls. They're trying to keep them guessing, trying to keep them on their toes, and so far it's working out great as it split the defenses once more, but still 3 ready to go and ready for a hit on the B bomb site.
Yep, and there's going to be Electronic with a 5-7 here on the B plateau, so he could be a difference maker. But instead, it's going to be 3 of the Cloud9 members making their way through a drop. Spiker being the man on hot seat, he decides to fall back. That's the smart move to make. Electronic decides to take the duel. Not sure he's getting much out of it. Stewie, Shroud, and Stewie, well, everyone's just getting kills on the Cloud9 side. Kucher being the lone one from Empire, alive here in Connector against 5 Cloud9 players, and bomb going down. There's not all too much you can write about it.
All the entries just basically going the way of Cloud9 there when it comes time to strike down, getting a little bit close on some of those, but ultimately not able to win a single battle in a 1v1, so Empire just bow down to C9, and with that they should be able to hold the advantage here coming off of the second half.
Yeah, the problem was that they were not able to have any focus on either of the 2 choke points of the bomb side. Instead, they were sort of trying to hold both, and well, that did not go too well for them. It's going to be Cloud9 now picking up their 9th round. So let's see how does the Empire decide to buy into the round number 2? Well, seems like they have 4 spot into it. Some Deagles in play. Well, we know Russian players especially have been pretty good with the Deagles if you're going down the memory lane. They've always been known for some Deagle action, so you never know if we're going to see some of that. But obviously, the problem is that if you don't win this round, it's going to be very hard going into that first weapon round, as you have to make a lot of compromises in terms of what you buy. So it's a massive risk for Empire to take.
Very big stack from Empire as well, closer to the B bomb set. They risked it here, but it should, in theory, pay off. But now they've got to actually find the kills. And to start things off, immediately, Electronic's going to go down there. Spaz almost gets himself eliminated, but a little bit late on the shot. Still finds a connection to pick up a headshot on the Stewie. It's a Hwandig in order to take him out of the picture. But the smoke wall now started to come in there. Spaz with another one, though. The Deagle shot from nowhere takes out Shroud. Finally, he's going to be shut down by Slemmy, and now they're chaining more of them together. Skadoodle and Slemmy picking up 2 more for themselves. And everything falls to Cyber Focus, who's placing himself a little bit further back in the site behind the rock right now.
Yeah, that's what the patience against a force bike can work out. Even though there's a lot of emphasis from the CT9B bomb side, you use your smokes, Molotovs, and you keep the distances high, or rather long. That's going to make things easier for you going to that bomb side. They obviously lose 2 members. It looked a little bit tricky to begin with, but eventually they managed to trade the kills off. And they're going to be winning that one. And that's going to be Empire on a save round here. And it's going to be that situation I said. First weapon round is going to be it's going to be hard for them because all except for Cyber Focus are sitting at 1.9k or so. Cyber Focus obviously going to be picking up that AWP, but his teammates are obviously having to make compromises in that first weapon round.
Electronic going to get destroyed by an A right at the beginning here by nothing. But he tries to creep his way up to the broken wall. All he gets is a punishment in the form of an HG grenade, and now Cloud9 just funnel themselves very quickly out onto this A bomb site. Stewie already starting to rack up some of the frags. Not a whole lot left here already that Team Empire can do with such a minimal buy, and with them being denied site access entirely. I think Stewie's even going to get a little bit aggressive here.
They are feeding Stewie right now.
Here's the jump through the smoke.
I wasn't probably expecting that to happen, but well, it does get a kill, Stewie, but then goes down.
Wasn't counting on Spiker being a little bit up close there behind the smoke. I think he missed him initially when he was in that corner. So Shroud's going to make up for that, though. Finds a nice long-range frag against Electronic, and Spiker even getting a little bit aggressive here, too, trying to do some work with that MAC-10 after he picks it up, but hopefully dropped by nothing, and then Skadoodle finds the final pickup as well. So they'll recover the MAC-10. Not that it was necessarily a huge drop anyway after being so dominant on these first couple of rounds, but it goes back into their hands anyway, which is another gun they, in theory, do not have to buy if they don't want to upgrade it here for the first gun round.
Now, as you can see here for Empire, they have an op on Cyber Focus, who's the only one that had the means to buy one, but there's no diffuse kits on that CT side, there's not a single Molotov on that CT side, there's not a single grenade either, so if should Cloud9 do a fast push towards that B bomb side, for example, it could be a hard hole for Empire.
So Cloud9 start to push their way out onto the platform now. Empire, again, decent amount of focus on the B site, but it's fairly usual as far as CT splits are concerned. pushing out Kucher as well to watch out for a long A hit, but he's going to need to rotate in quickly, especially with Stewie finding this first kill, and it's Cloud9 just jumping their way into the site. No hesitance whatsoever, but there we go. Members of Empire starting to strike back a little bit. Spaz, Cyber Focus, and Spaz again picking up 3 kills, down to a 3-on-2 against the favor of Cloud9. Spaz even spotting one of them retreating a little bit there on the platform, but with Shroud still in the picture here, they know there is a presence now that they've got to make up for it, as they started off swell, but just unfortunately got destroyed by those players further back in the site.
They're taking things slow right now. Shroud getting boosted. He's gonna get that free kill on the Cyber Focus, and now it's a 2-on-2 situation. But Spaz, the man that already has 3 kills, still alive, and he's dangerous for sure. Still behind the bomb side. Still 55 on the clock, and pressure's on Cloud9 and trying to get the plant. Shroud goes in, and he's gonna stick it too. It's gonna be the bomb plant.
Shroud and Nothing holding themselves back a little bit here to try and hold it, but Shroud a little bit more momentous. Nothing that was able to pick up that first kill in the Spaz. It keeps Shroud up and rolling here too. And basically all the attention's focused on him, so Nothing's got nothing to worry about. And for Kucher, with not intended of course, with only 13 HP left on Kucher, there's not a whole lot left for him to do, so just going to be trying to move forward. We can see Shroud just doing a little dance there, shimming back and forth, and it just draws the attention so that Nothing can pick up the kills from long range with the op, and that's what he's going to do to close it out, so Cloud9 will find a 12th round.
Yep, smart plays there from Nothing and Shroud, boosting up, and then that's going to be Cyber Focus going down, and that's where the opportunity became for Cloud9 to win that round, basically, off of the playing it slow, taking their time, not trying to do anything hasty, and that's going to be the 12th round for Cloud9. Empire, another save here. And it was the big push coming in. I think the issue really for Cloud9 was, even though they got the intro kills, they never really got into the bomb site, trying to go around it. So somehow Spaz managed to make 3 kills, and still possible for Empire to battle in that round. But that is already gone. It's already been lost. Now it's going to be a save for Empire.
Electronic again. Up at the front there with the broken wall, trying to find some shots against Cloud9 as they slowly press their way towards it. But with this being an eco, and they obviously know it, they're going to take things a lot slower to get out onto the site. No risks need to be taken, especially with that Deagle in play. And we saw Spaz doing work there before. Now it's in the hand of someone else, though, and Electronic doesn't really have armor behind it, which is going to make it even worse to work with here. Normally, if you've got a good wall or something to crouch behind, you can find some sort of impact with it, but out on the B-bomb side, it's so hard to get some good coverage.
Yeah, this is just Cloud9 playing it really slow and Stewie. Another kill there. It's going to make it 5-on-3, and still Cloud9 hasn't really done all too much except for getting those 2 kills. But then Spiker comes in. He's going to make that Deagle work, and this is the moment where Cloud9 needs to gather up with all 4 and decide on one of the bomb sites and just use the smoke, the Molotov, and the few flashes they have left to cover a couple of choke points and make sure you're trading effectively. And that's something that we'll have to do. Kucher here, very close to the side hall, and here comes the push from Cloud9. Kucher might be able to get one, but he does not. Skadoodle eliminates him. Slow down the Cyber Focus, and Spiker.
Spiker trying to work his way back in here now. He does grab a kill as it's Cyber Focus. This is not done for the members of Empire just as of yet, although they have blocked themselves out of the site now with the smoke in play, and that's where it's going to prove to be a little bit more dangerous here because of the fact that they have given Cloud9 free reign over the site. 10 seconds left, though, and now Cyber Focus, as they go for the plant, he's going to take advantage of this. Not scouting Skadoodle, though, is hiding in the back cubby. Takes down Cyber Focus, and everything is in the hands of Spiker, who's successfully managed to get himself on the T-ramp, but they know for sure that he's there, and it's going to be Skadoodle. Shuts down the final player with ease, and another one now is racked up for the T's.
Yep. Low HP, no armor, in a 2-on-2 situation, retake, no hits either, and then becomes a 1-on-2. If the angles are held correctly for Cloud9 in that situation as they were, there's no way you can win that 1-on-2. So it's going to be round number 13 going the way of Cloud9, and it's slowly slipping away from Empire. This is pretty much a do-or-die situation for them.
Yeah, as this half has been essentially just a wash for the members of Team Empire. What is this one getting at now? Like 5 in a row, I think, for the members of C9, pretty close to. Just haven't really seen all that much of an impact at all here. They haven't been able to strike back like they did in the last half there after the first gun round.
Yeah, it's been 10 rounds in a row if you count it from the first half as well. But so say that Spaz is going to be opening things up. That's an early advantage from the Wave Empire.
Now they're going to actually take advantage of this one because they've had this sort of position before, but just weren't able to actually close out upon it. Cloud9 have been able to craft their way back into quite a few of these rounds and play a few mind games in the process of that against the members of Team Empire. Going to start off this round. They're going to be focusing mainly on the A site hit, but waiting around the corner, Cyber Focus. He misses that shot, though, and that's a big miss. As now Slemmy just going to take him down, and they're wide open to push into this site.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure here in Kucher. He's wide open up close. He needs to get at least 2 kills here to make things worth for Empire. Should be getting 1. He gets 1, makes it 2, goes down to Slemmy. And And now it's still doable for Empire right now. The rotation's already come in. Shroud and Slaney are nowhere near the bomb side so far. So it's going to be mistakes needed or a grenade from Cloud9 for them to have a chance at this. Electronic is getting Molotov away from that comfort of the little corner and at the back of the bomb site.
Now down to the 2v2, Shroud rolling right up the T-ramp though, takes that Electronic. That's an easy mark for him, not expecting to find him in that spot at all. And for Spaz, there's only 20 seconds left to be noted here, so Spaz pushes out at the right time. He can just shut this down entirely, but he's got to pick the right time to do it, and it might be a little bit late on this now. If he'd gone up maybe 2 or 3 seconds earlier, he would have been able to have a big impact, but now they're out into the site. The good news for him is that they're both up here, somewhat excluded right now, so the first one's going to come for free. Nobody's even looking, but then he jumps up.
I don't think he realized there's going to be 2 on that bomb side. He was expecting one of them to be like near your side hall or a middle ramp. And it works against him in the end. That was a very close one there. And I just like the patience from Cloud9 in this 2-on-3 situations, the 2-on-4s. You know, even the numbers, they're not fearing them. They use their utilities they have. They use the boosts when they need and can do. And that's why they're winning these clutch situations. They are just basically showcasing that they are the better team on the server right now.
So for the guys on Empire, back to the usual split here. Cloud9 as well. Everything's worked so far, so might as well keep trying some of the things that have worked in the past, which is just, this time is just going to be directly inside of the mid-connector, pushing their way back out. Some trades coming in, but still in their advantage as Stewie and Shroud pick up 2. Future only finding 1 to respond to that. They're quickly rotating over. In fact, they might get here in time to try and deny their presence on the site to begin with, but now they're moving their way up, and again, it's just lambs to the slaughter at this point, it would seem. Slubby takes down Spaz as he pushes his way out, and there you can see it too, they're just waiting for them to actually work their way out into the site as they pick up another kill by doing that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like, why is Cloud9 just pushing bomb side? But I guess the whole idea there was to wait for the rotation to come in and try to do a hasty move, and that's exactly what Spaz was doing. For example, Skadoodle, I mean, a bit of a battle there with the Tech 9, and not working out. Electronic decides to evade. He's going into the halls and trying to save this FAMAS for the next round, and that's going to be Cloud9 now in map point after getting 12 rounds in a row now. It's been quite a run from Cloud9.
Should it be noted too that if I'm recalling correctly, I think this is the first time someone from Empire has actually tried to save as well. Almost every single time they've actually attempted to go for the full retake.
Yeah, it's been a lot of close rounds. Obviously, in the first half, there was 5 rounds in a row that were one-on-ones basically, and it's been a lot of close rounds where actually in a lot of them Empire had the man advantage, but it was just the patience and the discipline from Cloud9 players, and I guess the experience that they have of how to deal with those situations. That being enable them to be able to win the rounds, and now they're sitting at 15.
And with this, now the buy coming in from Empire is still going to look incredibly weak. 2 FAMASes.
2 Max 7s, of course.
A single M4, yeah, and the 2 Max 7s, which, give them credit, can be fairly potent here in drop room and whatnot, but...
Yeah, it's true. But unfortunately, there's not a single Cloud9 member even briefly close to that area of the map.
All of them are focusing on the A-hit. The good news is, though, is that one of the shotguns isn't the suicide steps. He's just looking the wrong way right now. So we'll see if he'll be able to impact. And once around in the corner, Just is going to miss that flick, and the shotgun will go down. Slemmy picks up the kill. Kucher again, though, is on the response. And he not only picks up that one, but he takes down Stewie, too.
He's going to have 3 more T's coming his way. Not going to be able to get a kill. Nothing gets that one. Spaz here on this A-bomb site all alone. The rain of Cloud9 members coming his way. Spaz slightly whiffing those shots, but things get a little bit awkward for Cloud9 as Spiker and Spaz do get the kills. Now it's all down to Shroud in a 1-on-3 situation. He gets a nice shot on the Spiker. He's going to slow things down. He knows there's a guy on the bomb side, but he's trying to find the other one. It's going to be Spaz to close things out here. And finally, Team Empire is on the board again.
Would end it on the streak, though, I'm saying, for Cloud9. Would end it when they're up at 15 rounds, of course.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
basically, let's make it as hard as humanly possible and then win a round.
I guess, maybe just Cloud9 things. I don't know.
Possibly. Rubbing a little bit of liquid dust off on them.
That's because you have that little pink on your jacket. You should probably take it off.
Maybe. That is always fun to reference, though.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
Regardless, though, Cloud9 still with a decent amount of cash left over are able to rebuy into the 24th round here. Still in the hands of Skadoodle and 4 AKs for the rest. Very quickly, all 5 are pushed out to the platform. Members of Empire shouldn't be able to realize this just yet with the smoke in play, but now they themselves are going to go for the quick smoke setup and a quick execute here, but there's Electronic just sitting down below. Finds a nice lock-on kill on his Stewie. Skadoodle responds to one of his own pickups, and following that, Slemmy leaps down, takes down Electronic, and now they've got the man advantage in their power once more.
And they've isolated the bomb site with those smokes. Spaz trying to work his way around the smokes, Slimmy goes down to Spiker as well, so this could actually work for Empire. That's going to be 3 kills going their way. It's all down to nothing now. We'll have come down drop. I think Spiker should have this. He does not. It's going to be nothing getting that kill. And a possibility for him, but in the end, an Empire getting that round, number 9, and that's going to be now 2 in a row for them. Do I smell OT already?
It's no way.
I don't.
Can't happen again.
Going full Moses then.
No way. It's no way it's gonna happen again.
100%.
It's not possible.
Jeez.
Moses just never fully realizes the levels North America can go to.
Exactly. Should
The
as
depth.
a North American.
The depth it can sink to.
Yeah, deeper than submarines. Well, it's gonna be a save here from Cloud9. They have some smokes and flashes to work with, so they're hoping to get a bomb plant out of this. And that's probably the most they can get out of this.
And for everybody on Cloud9 too, it's just another full 5-man push out towards the A bomb site. Empire have actually posted up most of their players towards the B site, so if they can surprise against Cyber Focus and take him down, although he's actually in a pretty safe position, but if they were able to take him down, then they still might be able to deny a decent amount of presence here and try to wait things out, but they're going to be pretty quick about working their way back in here. There's 1 kill. Second kill comes out from Spiker. Cyber Focus did miss a connection there. In fact, his teammate in front of him making it a little bit tough to find those kills. Kucher, though, picks it up, and everything's on nothing. He's going to be taken down pretty easily, too. And with that, it'll be a 10th for the members of Team Empire.
Also, it reminded me of how a lot of teams play cash A site. Really passive, just one basically holding an angle and then falling back, and then use all the utility you can have to retake that A bomb site. So probably not something to be advised to do a lot of the times, but obviously works great for Empire this time around. Not losing a single member. And well, Cloud9 is going to be happy about that too. They got that bomb plant, but now it's going to be double digits for Empire. And they've managed to get 3 of their own now in a row.
And no AWP coming back with the picture as of yet for C9, which means we're going to be sticking to these fully jointed plays, everybody working together here, and a lot of them actually going into drop 3 for the time being. Shroud delaying himself a little bit so we can toss that molly down outside of the window, but the others are starting to push out, but again, it's an Empire shutdown. Electronic finds 3, a 4th for him before he's finally taken down, and then Cyber Focus finishes it off. Cloud9 making literally 0 progress in that round.
Overtime.
4 more.
No, but yeah, what a great haul from Electronic. Obviously, the new POW, C. Anders. Yeah, great job here. Playing this very high pressure position on the map too. Pulling off that push. It was a full-on B split from Cloud9. Not working out at all. And yeah, Empire is slowly creeping back into this. Going to be another save now. This time around, there's a few armors and Tech 9s in the play. Want to make their way down drop. This very passive hole from Empire does allow that to happen, but Spiker somehow, or for some reason, decides to go in there. Electronic with a nice shot though, so the numbers still favor them.
So the members of Cloud9 still trying to forge their way in, but without really having a lot of room to begin with. There you go. A little bit of trouble, Stewie.
Take your time.
He is going to abandon Shroud here for the time being, though, but it's for a good cause. It's so that they can get the rifle into a sort of turret position, work it from up top here. And hopefully fire down on the members of Team Empire. Good pop flash, it allows them to pick up a kill, but unfortunately at the same time, Skadoodle has been lost. Electronic takes him down. The attempt to push out from Shroud outside of the drop room is not going to fare very well, so it's all on Stewie in the 1v3. Peeking out, doesn't get the location on Kucher, so he will take him down. 3 more now for Team Empire to take this into OT.
Do you believe yet, Blue?
Oh, it's 100% a possibility. Like, I'm not even... the amount of times we've seen this happen now, it's like, yeah, this could happen. It's not even the worst case either.
Yeah.
There's been much worse cases of comebacks like this happening.
Oh, definitely has been, yeah. Well, we have an op in play for Skadoodle, and all sets of needs for Cloud9 too. See what the kind of approach they have. Skadoodle's going to be probing this middle area, but he's not going to be able to find all too much as the CTs have smoked off mid. And they have Cyber Focus and yeah, that's Kucher as well, towards that side hole area.
Still holding back for now. Smoking it for the CTs. Might actually allow these guys to push in. The real question for Spiker, though, is how well is he actually going to be able to spot these guys pushing in? You can see he's got a little tiny angle to work with there if he hugs the right corner. But even he's not really sure of it. So.
Yeah, really playing the numbers, is he? Just trying to see a little gap. Electronic gets popped into B long, but he's not going to see anything as all the Cloud9 members, 3 of them that are close to there, are playing so passively, and they have gone down the drop now. But the bomb is still somehow, it is around towards the A bombs and more than B. So this could potentially be a split or a fake from Cloud9.
The volley coming in, actually, when there is a big presence from Cloud9 stuck inside of here too. I think Cloud9 trying to make the decision right now as to whether they want to try to drive a wedge and go for the A side or just fully commit themselves to B since they've already got such a presence in drop. It looks like they're going to shift themselves over towards B now. They will have to be careful of Electronic, who's sitting himself in the cubby a little bit further back on the platform right now. If they don't check for that one, he could do some huge damage. Shroud goes out first, though, and they're not checking at all initially. Moving around the corner, he's trying to spray into it, but Electronic's blind, too. He ends up picking up a kill against Shroud simply to keep himself alive there, but Slummy does find the quick trade, taking him down 1 for 1 so far, but there's only 20 seconds left on the clock, and Cloud9 are running it to the wire. Nothing, though, finds a big impact as he pushes his way back out through drop. Stewie unfortunately goes down to Kucher inside of the drop room itself, but Nothing now is going to push back in to find the trade against him. Takes him down, and with that, it's all on Cyber focus again. The last man left alive, and he's going to be flanked in a moment. It's not even needed. Cloud9 do stop the comeback, and it'll be 16-12 at the end of their first map.
Dream is dead. It was lying for a long time, but eventually Cloud9 does make it happen. A little bit weird there in the last round of what they really wanted to do. I'm not sure they really knew themselves. Maybe they were first going for a split through connector to take the bomb through middle, but then decided to attack that B bomb site. And yep, it seemed like it was supposed to be a quite an easy one for Cloud9 rather. But kudos to Empire for coming back into it.
Big thing for Empire, I mean, the biggest thing that I think affects the outcome of this match is, one, they do allow Cloud9 to battle back so many of those clutches at the end of the first half, and number two here is, for most of their CT half, they were just flatlined entirely. It was like 7 or 8 rounds in a row Cloud9 pick up before we finally start to see Empire fighting back.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of question mark, a lot of ifs and buts for Team Empire for sure. I mean, that first half could have been totally different, which would have changed the whole dynamic of this game. But well, I mean, you have to earn those clutches too. So kudos to the Cloud9 players that managed to pull them off and keep themselves afloat on that first half.
Afloat? They didn't sink.
They did not
into
sink.
the liquid.
The jokes keep coming. It's like a gift that keeps giving.
So this, of course, guys, means once again, for those of you unfamiliar with the format, that Cloud9 are going to now be just 2 wins away from their own spot over at the main event in Cologne. And for Empire, they'll be 2 losses away. So with Cloud9 drying the liquid off of themselves, we can go and toss things down for an interview.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am here on the stage with a very bouncy Nothing. Yeah, moving around a little bit, mate, of course, just stretching out after being sat down for, I guess, 27 rounds or so there, men. Let's start off, talk about your CT side, okay? Because your first few rounds, we saw you down almost 3-7. Struggling to hold some initial pushes. I mean, Slemmy had a great couple rounds early on. We got 6 from 2 rounds, but then the initial push onto the B side, onto towards platform and towards Avi along, you guys seemed to actually struggle holding and had to clutch rounds out to win. What did you have to change up there to sort of fix that?
Well, on the start CT there, I guess we kind of decided to play a little bit default for this tournament format. We've added some new things to our game, but we didn't want to bring them to the table right away. So we're like, all right, guys, just play kind of standard. They abused that drop split when we were up, I think, 3-0, and that kind of started them getting to 3-3. And then we're just like, listen, we're not really playing bad. We're just kind of missing kills we should be getting. Me, Shroudy, we should have had a lot of kills, we felt. So yeah, we just kind of got our heads into it, got warmed up. That's a common trend with our team a lot of times. In best of 3s, we seem to get turned up a little bit more. Best of 1s, we are late to get into it sometimes. So kudos to them, though. They have a couple strong aimers. So.
I mean, it can be a bit jolting sometimes as well when you're playing the 1 game a day. You've got plenty of time to think about it, but only so much time to actually play in general. Let's talk about the end of the game as well. We saw that, I think, 14-round streak from you guys, put it together, kicked it off with some great clutches, and then just put solid rounds in. You eventually managed to win out, got a little bit closer than perhaps you may have liked at that point there. What were you really trying to avoid in those last few rounds? It's like, we're trying to close the game out, but what are you specifically trying to address there as well to stop you from losing those rounds coming in on the T side?
Like I said, it was similar to CT side. It's not necessarily saving strats, but it is at the same time. We have some new execs, and we just didn't want to have to run them. So, I think one of the rounds, I don't know if it was like 15-11, we all walked A, and they baited themselves A hall, and that simple trade probably would have closed it. So, I had no problem with the way Slim called those simple rounds. We just didn't get the trades into kills, and then the last round that we closed it out was simply because we settled down and just played the round properly. The couple rounds before, we were kind of rushing things and got a little sloppy. Then we closed it out.
And you had a nice little peek underneath the smoke coming out of drop room as well to get that first kill on the B side. Well, congrats, Jordan. Good stuff to you guys as well. C9 sandbagging confirmed. You heard it here first, but we'll see. No, kidding. We'll see you guys tomorrow, though, as well. So in your next best of 1. Thank you very much for joining me. And now, of course, we're going to pass it over to our analysts to break it down and hopefully, put a bit more detail than I've thrown on so far.
Thanks very much, Mitch. We'll do our best. It does seem like the saving strats is the excuse Cloud9 have presented for at the end there. Now,
It's nice to bring that meme back.
No, but I do like the idea of, if we can get through it without it, then we'll hold on to it, get that ace up your sleeve. We know, what those aces up your sleeves can do. We saw examples of it at the previous major, not a major, at IEM. We saw lots of teams kind of deciding, right, okay, let's bring out the triple boost, let's bring out something else. These kind of aces up the sleeve, it seems like C9 might have something in store for Cobble later on.
Well, I've got to say it, they didn't seem like they, well, at the end of K, there were moments where you're starting to go, okay, this is looking a little bit worrying. You're starting to see players starting to step up. It was electronic. At the end of it, started to look pretty deadly, but prior to that, you had Stewie opening up the site pretty comfortably. He was not unchallenged, but more often than not, he would successfully open the site. Then you'd have Slemmy, of all people, which was quite surprising to me, having an incredibly good game to follow up as well. They were actually pretty proficient on their T side, and honestly, if they have more to bring, great, but I think they did more than enough in that game so far. I think it looked close at the end, but overall, not a bad performance from C9.
Yeah, no, they probably felt like they had things under wrap, really, with what they were doing already, which is understandable when you go on such a long streak as they did initially, and also that has to be very, hard to take for a team like Empire. They get off to a great start with 7-3 lead, and then everything just kind of crumbles.
But I also think that those clutches C9 were picking up would probably really degrade Empire's morality.
Oh, it's frustrating.
Oh, yeah. Morality, that's the wrong expression, but you know what I mean.
Like, the mentality would just degrade at that point. Losing like 2v1s and stuff.
2 times in a row they lost 1v2 to Skadoodle, which was probably pretty good for Skadoodle as well, because he was having an extremely rough time, because we're talking about how good or how well Slemmy was doing towards that A bomb site, and Ska oftentimes being the rotator, or actually being the guy holding towards middle to help out Slemmy, provided absolutely nothing for the better part of that first half.
Staying on Slemmy for a moment, C9 were struggling on their CT side to hold the A site.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean there's criticism weighed in on Slemmy, or is that more towards C9 as a whole?
I don't think that's on Slemmy. Slemmy did it initially pretty well, actually, to either get a first pick or get information early enough to actually allow for rotations to come in. It's more what the 4 people on B actually do when the rotation's coming in, what kind of decisions they make in that situation. And sometimes it's just down to not hitting shots. We saw a couple of times where Scott just wasn't really in the zone, or he couldn't hit his shots. So then you're going to have a rough time actually holding the A-bomb, because there is a limit to how much Slemmy can do on his own.
I think this also goes to the point that Jordan actually mentioned on the stage. He said that they had some good plays towards drop, and a couple of their plays were good aimers. Actually, Electronic was the guy taking that drop from quite consistently, so actually making it pretty hard to play on that retake without causing casualty, without cleanly pulling back through it. It's you actually saw some real kind of, I guess, prowess coming out from Empire on their first go of things, but beyond that, it was just kind of a little lackluster.
But I guess we have to take into consideration of the fact that Cloud9 won both pistols.
Correct.
And they didn't drop anti-ecos either, so that's 6 rounds in the favor of Cloud9 that they get kind of for free, in a sense. So, given a 16-12 final scoreline, Empire definitely did a better job than I expected. And they really grinded things out, especially towards the end there. But, obviously giving up a, 12-round streak or something like that for Cloud9 doesn't win you games.
Well, promising signs from Empire, and they now join Splice and Renegades in that 0-on-1 category, though they'll be facing off amongst each other once we do complete our 8-game day. Now, we're going to be taking a quick break, and when we do come back, we get to see, another team from the CAS minor, Fluffy Gangsters. I'm going to always love saying that one, and if they're going to be going up against Mouse, it could be a little bit of a mismatch. But before I do go, there's this application that I know you've probably never heard of before, and you've never heard it coming out of my mouth before, but do check it out anyway. It's called the Score Esports application. It enables you to follow not only this new format for this qualifier, but also get your head around who's at the major already and to get all of your scores and stats. So you check that out while we take a quick break. When we do come back, though, it's time to see what the Gangsters of a fluffy variety can do versus Mouse Sports. So do stay tuned.